Yes, yes, yes. Am I live yet? Come on, YouTube baby, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, I'm live. Okay. Hey there, Soulshine. It's Michelle here, and I'm inviting you to wake up and live. Oh, YouTube thing had to go reset the router because it was taking forever. Typically on a day I get to wait for quite a while, and I feel like I'm in an old time movie smiling, waiting for the camera to take a picture of the thumbnail. Crazy, crazy. Okay, so today we're going to talk about certainty and a little bit about chakras and how that plays into it. There's a person out there who took Tony Robbins' 6 human needs and put them on the chakras, scrunched a couple together, added a couple more, and called it good. As I'm sitting here pondering what to talk to you guys about today, I thought to talk was kind of thinking about certainty. Certainty, in my oh so humble opinion, is not just about one chakra. There is a chakra that it tends to play out more. There's another chakra. I think that the solar plexus chakra, your confidence chakra, also has a role in certainty. When you feel confident and safe, that's where a lot of our fear is in this the solar plexus chakra, and that's not the chakra that is associated with certainty. Hey, Lydia. Hey, guess what, Lydia? I got dressed. Okay, so Lydia is one of my best friends. So we've had a texting conversation today. So she knew that I didn't get dressed for most of today. But I got a lot done. Okay, so certainty is often associated with the root chakra. The root chakra is where people have schedules and routines, and there's one of the problems with associating the 6 human needs to the chakras is that multiple chakras play into these needs. One of the human needs is belonging and family is root chakra, but that love space is the heart chakra, so they're both involved. And so I don't think that you can actually say that one chakra is associated with one need. And just like, so we have these 7 main chakras, which there are tons more chakras involved, and we need all of them. If one of our chakras isn't working right, then we are not living a fulfilled life. Something's not right in our lives. We need all of them. Lydia is here, and Lydia is the expert on layers. She teaches about the layers of communication, and she puts everything about us into layers. Which love language is closest to our heart, but we need all 5 of them, and which learning styles are closest to us and we learn the best from, but we need all of them. And that same kind of thing applies with the chakras. Each chakra is important. We need all of them to be functioning. And each human need is super important, and we need all of them. We are going to have a human need that is closer to our heart. One that, if we can find a way to sneak that into everything we want to create in our lives, if we can bring that, our strongest human need, into it, we're going to be able to create what we want faster. But we need to address all of them. Okay, so certainty, let's look at it chakra by chakra. The root chakra, like I said, there's some family there. You need a sense of family, a certainty with your family. You either, well, it doesn't matter who you are. You need to have that sense of belonging, that sense of, okay, I love you, babe. We need to have this sense of, kind of a sense of belonging that comes with that family thing, but there also needs to be a certainty that that you belong there. Sorry, I have 4 thoughts happening at once. I love it when that happens. Certainty can look like schedules. And some of us really struggle with schedules. We can see how they're beneficial for people, but like we feel trapped by them. And so if you are wanting to create a life, if your soul desires to live a life that would be benefited by having a schedule, and we have those trapped feelings about it, that certainty, although a human need, could actually work in the opposite, because we may have emotions trapped around it. That's not really about the chakras, huh? That's okay, because I just came on with the idea we're going to go where we're going to go. So if you have stuff come up about certainty, if you have like schedules and routines create kind of a foundation in people's lives, but if you feel trapped by them, you have some trapped energy around them, then if you are wanting to create something, like, we'll use me for an example because I am an expert on me. I desire so much to like truly be an author, to the point where I am writing every day. That is in my declarations, that is in my soul proclamation, that is in what I am trying to manifest in my life, is that I'm writing every single day. And when I do write, I feel amazing. And I love what I write, and I love how it makes me feel about myself and about everything that's going on. And it's pretty cool. But in order to create an everyday writing thing, I need to have a schedule, and schedules make me feel trapped, which is why I could talk about that, because that's how it makes me feel. So as long as I'm having that, what would you call that? This, I don't know, contention, I guess, this issue with schedules. So I have an issue with having certainty in my life. I am familiar with certain areas of my life, and that's good. I'm like, this is familiar. I'm good with that. I kind of know what to expect in this kind of life. That's a level of certainty. And to take it to the level of certainty that would require a schedule or routines in order for me to achieve what I want to achieve, that takes me into that space that feels yucky, that just feels like the world's caving in on me. And so there's the part of me that desires that certainty, because I want to write every day. I know that I would get the things done that I want to write. I have like a list of books to write, and I have blog posts and newsletters and all kinds of things to write. And they're not getting done. I sit down to write maybe twice a week instead of every day, like I know I want to do. That's what my soul desires. And it's because there's this contention around having a schedule. This anxiety, if you will, this feeling of being trapped. And so as long as I have that, I'm not going to be able to create that in my life. I'm just not going to be able to. I get to look at that. I get to heal that. I get to take care of that so that I can step into having more routines. I know from experience that when I do routines with my family for homeschool, and we just are on the ball with the routines, that things go so much better and things get done. But I'm at war with another human need, which is variety. And so I've got this war between certainty and variety, and this feeling of trappedness with having these routines. So the point with that is that around certainty, there is this need. There is a need to have things familiar and certain and sure in our lives. But there's also a need for having, but there can also be a need for an up level that causes us fear. How this ties into the chakras is if you have some kind of like my anxiety and my fear is going to be associated with the chakras that that are affected. And so I'm not sure 100% whether it's my root chakra being affected or my solar plexus chakra. I'm kind of feeling like it's a solar plexus thing for me. That trapped, that it's like not a healthy boundary kind of thing. It's an unhealthy boundary. Okay, I can do this. I could totally say what I'm trying. I could totally say what's coming to mind, right? How do I word this the best? Because it's like here, it's like this thought right here that I just have to pull in and be able to express it. So you have the human needs. You can be being met on an unhealthy level, or even a healthy level, but that's not for your highest and best good. And you can have an aversion to that need as well. And when you have that conflict there, the aversion there, the stronger one's going to win out. So even though it's a human need, if you have like fear wrapped around that need, you're not going to be able to give yourself that need in a healthy way. That's just all there is to it. If you've wrapped your human need in an unhealthy patterns or patterns, if you've wrapped it in unhealthy ways and you have an aversion to your need, then you're not going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. The chakras are associated with developmental stages. So they go in these cycles. So there's a lot of cycles, because like you can cycle through a week, you can cycle through the day, which part of the chakra is active, or which chakras are the strongest at different parts of the day. So they're connected with the meridians, which Donna Ida explains really well what meridians are. And they fluctuate throughout the day, but they also fluctuate throughout a year, and our chakras fluctuate throughout a year, and our chakras fluctuate throughout our lives. So in the first year of our life, the root chakra is like the dominant chakra. The second year of our life is the sacral chakra. The third year, solar plexus. The fourth year, the heart. The fifth year, the throat. The sixth year, the third eye. And the seventh year, the crown. And then it repeats. So when you're in your eighth year, it's going back to the root chakra. And so it does this cycle through the 7. There's also a cycle that's bigger, and it's a 7-year cycle. So for the first 7 years, it's root. And the second 7 years, you're in a sacral. And then you're into your so it keeps going up. And you can look at this throughout your life. Okay, so as a baby, the first year of your life, the things that matter is that you have a roof over your head, that somebody's taking care of you, they're giving you food, they're taking care of your base needs. That is that first year. I mean, hopefully you were in a place where you're also being wrapped in love and you're getting a lot of other things, but as far as development is concerned, your base needs are vital during that first year. And for the first 7 years, you really need an adult around you to help take care of you, because you're in this this root chakra stage, which is about your base needs. Okay, then your second year is your chakra, which is variety, and you start to experience. It's got variety. It's got creativity, and you start to play with words, and you start to play with speaking, you start to play with toys more and more, and you start to bring in more people into your life. And it's so you have this stage, and you think about it from age 8 to 15, you're also in a place of creativity. I mean, like, seriously, preteens and the early teens, like middle school, that's a really tough time because that's when people are trying to figure out who they are. They're exploring, they're being creative, they're exploring variety, and that's totally with that chakra. So you have these patterns throughout your lives. And if you have, if your needs weren't met during those first 7 years, you could have things trapped in your root chakra. The other thing is just like I said, it repeats. So with your first year with your first is a 1-1. So it's root chakra and root chakra. Your second year is a 1-2. So root chakra and sacral chakra. And then 1-3, root chakra and solar plexus, and it works up through 7. And then it becomes 2-1. So you're still in that 8 years old can affect your root chakra. I mean, technically, anything can affect any chakra, but the ones that are most active are going to be the most vulnerable. I hope that makes sense. I didn't know I was going to be explaining all this about the chakras today. So for me, somewhere in my developing my root chakra, which is one of my weakest chakras. So it's not a surprise that I have issues with schedules and routines and family, actually. And like some people say that money is associated with this. I think money is associated with all the chakras. Just like certainty is associated with all the chakras. So somewhere in my root chakra and my solar plexus chakra, those two strong ones, I had some trapped energy. That trapped energy, those developmental pockets that didn't get met properly are going to create my ability to live life to the fullest, to experience all that my soul wants to experience here on life. And so one of the things that my soul wants to experience, one of the human needs, is certainty. So somewhere within my chakra system, there is an unhealthy relationship with certainty. And because of that, there are things that I cannot manifest. I cannot manifest the time to do the writing that I want to do until I take care of that. Okay, so certainty with the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra, again, it's about creativity. Certainty here, the situation that's coming to mind is Hitler. Not a person that we want to talk about. Definitely not a healthy person. But one of the things that is, if you've ever had to study him, and I had a report that I had to do on him. Luckily, not for me, the day that I had to report on it in school was the day when we had German exchange students at our school, and they did not understand at all the fact that I had to give a report on him. It was pretty crazy. But one of the things about him is that when he was young, and he got very criticized for his art, and he took it very much to heart. And that's a part of, I mean, obviously it's not the whole thing, but it's a part of what wounded him to the point where he became I don't even know what kind of word you put on what he did. He became the being that he became. And a part of that is because he had this natural inclination towards creativity. And he was so pleased with this art, and he had a desire to express himself through art and all this kind of stuff. And then bam, people just came along and told him he was awful at it. And I know people who haven't gotten that extreme, that wounded extreme that he did, but I know my grandmother would only sing to the babies when she didn't think anybody was hearing. So she'd take them into the other room and rock them and sing to them. And it was the only time anybody ever heard her singing. And it was because somebody criticized her singing, and so she shut it down. Our creativity, if we get shut down like that, we lack a certainty there. We lack a confidence in ourselves. We forget how to play. Lydia will be watching again because I know her. And Lydia also, along with teaching layers of communication, she teaches about play and how important it is for us to play. And, that kind of goes on with the second need. But at the same time, if you are certain that playing is not okay as an adult, you're not going to play. If you are embarrassed and you don't have that inner confidence, you're not going to play. So there is a certainty that is associated with your creativity. You're not going to share your work if you don't feel confident about it. It took me 3 years to publish this because there was a lack of confidence in myself. So certainty will play within our creativity as well. Certainty, we've already talked about the solar plexus. This is where your core sense of self comes from. And if you are afraid of everything under the sun, you don't have that certain assurance that everything's going to be okay. You don't believe that you're safe. And if you don't feel that you're loved in your heart chakra, if you don't have that certainty and trust that you are connected to other people, that's going to be a problem. Now, you can rename some of these different things, but certainty really does underline all of them. Expressing yourself, that's the same kind of thing with this. It's another level of it. Being able to share your message out there. If you have no self-esteem, so you have no confidence in yourself, you are not going to be able to share your message. That's just all there is to it. And when it comes to the third eye, this is our inner knowing. Talk about a place where you need certainty. You need to be able to know that what you are receiving is true. And if you don't have that assurance, you're going to think you're crazy, or you're going to doubt everything. You're not going to live a fulfilled life because you're shutting down a part of you. And then certainty with our connection to God. Crown is connection to God. There definitely is a lack of assurance in most of the world about whether God exists or not. And I'm not here to tell you who to believe in, but when I received an assurance of God's love for me, when I received that certainty that is associated with my crown chakra, when I received that certainty, that is when things started to turn around for me. That is when my life started to improve, because we need to have an association, a certainty in our higher power, whatever that higher power is for you. So the certainty does apply. It is a layer of every single one of them. Now, for some people, having certainty in their life is integral. And for that, that's probably where it does apply more in some of the lower chakras. And that is having those schedules. If they don't have their schedules together, they panic. They don't know how to live. That's probably a little extreme and unhealthy. But at the same time, it may be their natural way of being. You can watch little kids, and some of them are very organized and precise on their own. No training, they just are that way. So some things to think about. I hope I wasn't too crazy. I hope I didn't go too deep. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. When I was asking, what do I teach about today? What do I teach you guys about today? What do I share with you guys today? I wasn't planning on doing chakras, and I just kind of got this strong impression. You need to talk about chakras. And this week I'm talking about certainty, the human need of certainty. And I was like, okay, and that's why I started pondering it and got almost confused myself, but then came out of it as pieces started coming together. And because it is still kind of gelling inside of me, I feel less confident. I feel less sure and certain in what I'm saying. And so that's why I really hope that you receive it well. Thank you so much for watching. I know this one went kind of long. So I hope you do get to come back and watch it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to let your soul shine big, bright, light, and beautiful, and look for the issues that you might have with certainty so that you can heal them up and clear them out, and so that you can develop into the person that your soul wants you to be. And with that, I'll see you guys next time, hopefully tomorrow. Stop. There we go. Nope. Sometimes technology.